excited.
Keene and Alderwoman Grisham. First order of business is approval of minutes of October 3rd, 2023.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item D2 is the new Public Works Facility update. Melinda?
Thank you, Alderman. We just wanted tonight to provide an update of, what we've been working on since the contracts were approved. And then we have some slides that John's gonna present, drawings, and kind of show you where we've been and what we've been working on. So, back in October, the contract for the CUNY Architects was approved on October 5th. So during October, we finalized the contracts and some of the, we had the kind of the designs from the study, but a little more effort was put into those, and we got some preliminary plans prepared. Then we had the official kickoff meeting on November 10. So we invited all the staff members that would be involved in it. Had a big meeting here, some bagels and coffee. It was really nice. But then John kind of went through, and his team went through, the process, laid out the schedule for everybody. After that, we arranged and took tours of two other DPW facilities, one up in Oshkosh, one in Brown Deer, to see different facilities, how they were laid out, how they operated, different tools that they used, different equipment that they used, how did they do their fueling, how did they park their trucks, did they have hoses, air hoses, and water hoses right by the trucks so that there's efficiencies here. So it was really good to touch, feel, see all the different things that we could do and get ideas for our facility. So we did that on November 30th. Then we've been having weekly check-in meetings with Dave, John from CUNY, and myself. We invite other staff members as needed. We've been meeting. The other thing we've done is we've had meetings with the DPW staff, with engineering staff, with IT staff. They all look at the plans at that time, provide feedback, because we're trying to gain as many efficiencies as possible. You get a lot of eyes, you see a lot of different things, people will notice different things. So it's been a really big collaborative effort. We've met with finance on some preliminary budgets and breakdowns per the utilities, and Jason's been helping get a plan together for the financing. We have met with the planning department for a high-level review in November, and to kind of understand the submittal process. Plans were submitted to the planning commission for the planning commission meeting on the 24th. And Steve and Zach gave great feedback on that high-level review. IT's been reviewing the specifications for the IT needs for the new facility, including some security. IT and engineering and DPW, we all work together to find routes to get the fiber cable to the DPW facility, because it's got to be extended from different locations. We're going to have it come in on two sides of the building, so we have redundancy, and build that in right away. Economic Development has been coordinating the environmental component with the city's consultant, Rambo. We had a kickoff meeting for that on December 11, and we had a follow-up meeting with the DNR today. Patrick's been so helpful in arranging that, and Patrick expressed the city's urgency very well to the DNR about how important this is, and the timing is very crucial. The DNR said that they could prioritize this, but I don't know what exactly that means in the DNR world. But they did say that they would work with us on keeping it moving forward. The environmental testing is being scheduled for the former transfer station right now. We have some old information, we need to update it, so that's being worked on. Kale has been reviewing pieces of the construction contracts as we move forward, so we get a section in, we send it over to Kale, he helps us. We're gonna get that whole package put together, John and I are working on that, and, we'll get something over and reviewed, in February. Engineering has been working on the planning. I'm working on planning the improvements for the surrounding infrastructure needed for the building. There may be sewer upgrades that need to happen. We think the water is okay. We think the sanitary sewer is okay. Storm sewer may or may not need to be upgraded. We're still working on some of the final calculations for that. We know the streets are going to get damaged by all the trucking that is gonna happen here, so we've been working on the timing of those, and should we replace infrastructure at the same time when we redo the streets just because of age? So we've been doing those kind of ancillary type of plans. We also look at trucking routes and other things. We did a traffic study at 53rd and Burnham. We just got that data today. So we can look at traffic signals, turning radiuses, those kinds of things to make sure access is good to the facility. And then we had a meeting with communications, Dave and Rebecca, in December to begin the construction of the web page that's going to house the project details and updates. That should be rolling out very soon. And we've had meetings with CUNY's subconsultants on the civil and the HVAC, the electrical and the plumbing are all moving forward. So the remaining project schedule kind of lays out about 75% plans and specifications should be submitted around January 22nd. The Plan Commission meeting is January 24th. 90% plans and specifications are due February 2nd. Tentatively advertising for bids on February 7 and 14 or February 14 and 21st. The pre-bid meeting would be February 28. Open bids March 6th or March 13th, depending on when we advertise. And then the target is to award on March 19th. There may be a need if we open, if the plans aren't ready by February 14, we might be able to push that 1 week if we were to hold a special meeting the week of March 25th. It's not our goal, but we have a contingency plan for a little late. But this is a compressed schedule. Normally, we would take a year to develop these plans, and we're doing it basically in 6 months. So it's a very accelerated schedule, but it has been a great, huge team effort, and everybody here has been so helpful in moving it forward. And we're just gonna keep working towards the target dates. So that's kind of the process that we've been following the last few months. Do you guys have any questions before I turn it over to John?
Environmental,
Yes.
what's the outlook for environmental? Do you have any idea? For instance, you open bids on, let's say, worst case, the 25th of March. When would you have ground breaking? Are we gonna be held up 6 months because we're doing environmental remediation?
Environmental remediation is kind of factored into some of the planning of it. So Ramble is working on our remediation action plan and our soils management plan right now that we'll submit to the DNR and get approval of, so that it would be ready to go when we're ready to go. It may end up
So
being.
it's not gonna hold us up?
Well, hold it up for a long term, I don't anticipate that, so, but we don't control the DNR either.
I understand that.
Well, but our goal is to not have it held up.
Is there any reason that the DNR, the environmental things weren't addressed in November? Or, we've had good weather,
Well,
we've had,
sure. But some of the, you have to have a plan to give to the environmental consultant so they can start to develop the remedial action plan and the soils management plan. We had to get the building footprint and site kind of pretty laid out so that the engineers, the civil engineers could start to do the grading plan. That got done mid-November, so then we talked with the consultant early December, you know, and got that kickoff meeting, and we reached out to DNR right away. But sometimes there's like changes on the plans because we're looking at them and it's a fast pace. We're we do revisions, sometimes 2 or 3 revisions a day. There's been days where John and his staff and Dave and I are all emailing back and forth. How about this one? How's this one look? Because we're just compressed in the time schedule. So we feel like we tried to do it as fast as we could in the appropriate moment, where if we didn't have all that information, we had Donna reach out to DNR, we wouldn't have enough information to have the conversations that we had today and seem like we're really prepared for them to move forward.
The reason I ask these questions
Sure.
is council is gonna be changing. We've got, the present council is gonna be potentially acting on approving the Public Works facility plan for our last meeting of this council and throwing everything else into the hands of the next council. And I, for one, don't like that. I mean, I feel very uncomfortable with making a decision and leaving it up to the next council to have to carry it through. I see we don't have much of a choice, but I'm just uncomfortable with doing that. I'd rather have either the present council or the next council do the whole thing, but I understand we gotta get moving on this. We've been dragging our feet for how many years now? 3, 4, 5? A long time. A long time, too long. And so I'm very adamant that we maintain the schedules, we don't fall back on the schedules. I'd much rather see us opening bids on March 6th and awarding it rather than the 25th. Yeah, it just would feel more comfortable to me. And so I would hope that we strive for that.
Absolutely, that is, our goal is to have it before you on the March 19 council agenda for award, so.
Any other council members have questions, comments? I assume architecturally, everything has been on schedule with
Yep.
what their proposal was? Good.
Yes, so, and I'll let John come up. I'm just gonna show you one thing here. We're using a tool called Planner, and we have created, this tool that, everybody, key staff have, access to, so that we can track our project here. And we can look at it as a chart, so we can see how many tasks we have, how many we're working on, how many are in progress, how many are completed. Some of this information is what we're going to use on the website for the public facing, so that we can see the different priorities.
Timeline there?
Yep, we have our
chart.
different buckets here, and, you know, we have our members, so we can definitely see and track how we're doing on this project and keep it moving forward and provide that component to the public.
Great, thank you.
So, and with that, what I'm gonna do is, turn it over to John to go over the,
So what you're going to see tonight is the progress. Melinda did a great job laying out how we got there, or how we've gotten to this point here. Everybody's working hard. It's been a great team effort. I can report that there's the fire department we still need to meet some final meetings on, and other departments, but primarily everything in with the building has been kind of okayed and kind of given a thumbs up from everybody as of last week. So we're continuing to push. Site plan wise hasn't changed. The main building in red is the 150,000 square foot footprint. That is over the 2 major levels, I'll call it. And within the 2 major levels, there's a mezzanine on the northern side over the shops and a small mezzanine over the vehicle fleet repair area. Fuel Island is still on the southwest corner. We did change it up a little bit to where we have access directly off of Rogers, so there's no question. Fire engine, ladder truck, we can go pull directly off of Rogers, head north, kind of helping some turning radiuses there. Storage building number 2, Same spot it was always. We had kind of an odd-shaped building prior, a little leg off to the southwest. We've kind of eliminated that for efficiency-wise, for equipment in there and just efficiency-wise for construction. The storage building off to the southeast, we did move the storage bins on the west side of that, kind of getting them out of eye shot and kind of cleaning up that area off the fuel island. And it's just going to work circulation-wise best for staff and in any future development that might happen to the south. Upper left is still the vehicle employee and public parking, which would be the area for the primary area for underground storage quantity and quality. We're also going to have some between the two buildings. And as Melinda mentioned, we're still working out stormwater. The existing site around it is very at capacity already, so we're trying to figure out the best pros and cons of how to deal with the stormwater. Sanitary and water is pretty much a go and all set. So we've had a good conversation today on civil with engineering staff and Melinda's team that I think we got slowly getting some direction. We're gonna get some feedback on some updated plans by tomorrow, so then they can kind of look at it and give some additional feedback there.
Exactly.
Building footprint, the left side is still primarily your office and shops. The upper are office and locker room and training room. The upper right is primarily all the shops, and then a large vehicle parking all down the center. So the entire first floor is all the heavier vehicles. I'll say everything below like 20,000 pound vehicle and down, plus or would be on this level. And then the upper level, which has access for two different ramps, one from the inside and one from the bottom left, would get you up to the upper level, and then the fleet repair on the bottom side of the page, and then the different infrastructure pieces, manual wash and auto wash on the far right. Upper level, still playing around with parking configuration, whether they're 90, 45, but there again, design-wise, it's not slowing us down on that. It's essentially paint striping. We're trying to go back and forth the most efficient way of doing that. You can see there's some garage doors off the upper right. That's the mezzanine level, I'm calling it. So the shops, there's additional, that's the upper level, which the shops have additional space up on that level. In between those two levels is another mezzanine level. So it just doesn't get picked up on the plan, but so there's really 3 levels of shop areas. And then engineering the upper left, center core is kind of public space, activity space, and then the bottom is IT. And in working with IT, we have 3 different points within the building for infrastructure for IT, 1 main hub, but then as Melinda said, 2 different access points from fiber coming into the building for redundancy.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So yeah, you mentioned IT. Are we moving the entire IT department to the new facility? And we're moving the whole engineering department from City Hall to the new facility? Any other departments? City attorney? No,
That's funny.
Depends on the office space.
Yeah. Are there any? Although I'm kind of serious, are there any other departments other than IT and engineering that are moving out of City Hall? Okay, thank you.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ms. Stefanski.
So we're not gonna have any IT here at all at City Hall? Not even a little sub-department?
Mr. Chair? Yeah, no, all the staff, all the IT staff will move to the new facility. We still will have a closet in the basement that holds together some of our other infrastructure, but part of the design for this new building was this will become our new primary data center over time. Will be.
And that data center set up for complete
More secure.
backup and mechanical and humidity control. So it's designed specifically for a primary data center.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
The exterior renderings, 2-dimensional, are pretty boring. We'll get to the 3-dimensional. This is the kind of the palette board that was turned into for review,
Plan commission,
plan commission.
right?
Architecturally, we've kind of tied the whole theme around the entire building, but trying to keep the simplicity of the materials. Upper left is your Burnham and 53rd Street corner. And that's kind of the south view, so if I was kind of down by the fuel island. And then it's just some different architectural shots, interior, The bottom left is when you come in the main front lobby area, you'll see that access stair that leads up to engineering and IT. But when you go up to that spot, it's self-contained. You can't wander anywhere except that little vestibule area up top. But we wanted to make it inviting so people didn't have to find a stairwell. So we kind of had the stair open. But when you get to the upper level, you're essentially in an enclosed little area.
And there's an elevator, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
elevator off the right, which leads to that same little enclosed area. Lunch training facility there.
That's it? You wanna go to the flyby?
Yep. Any questions on the plans or? Okay. We're on Rogers looking north.
We'll play it again.
You plan on having a kitchen facility?
Yeah, there's break room in here and then a vending area on the first floor and break room on the second floor. Now we're coming from the east, so we kind of have a little gateway thing from coming from West Milwaukee into West Allis. These are the different elevations of the shops, just kind of breaking up the mass with just some different windows.
Looks great.
And we can play it again just because we didn't have it big.
It's an attractive design.
A lot of efficient, sustainable materials, glass, the insulated panels, so it's a heavily R-valued. We do have a kickoff meeting tomorrow with Focus on Energy to kind of start working on the rebate the city will get based on the design that we're at.
And because part of the intent is to put solar on the roof of the garage.
Yep. So we have all the roofs designed for solar ready regardless. They have a Focus on Energy has a blanket rebate just for that. So how we populate it, no matter what down the road, it'll be ready for a complete rooftop solar field.
And so I noticed the ramp going up to the second floor for vehicles. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the ramp that you saw on the, right there on the far, that'll be gate controlled. So the front parking lot, if you remember when we did the earlier presentation, there's additional spaces for additional employee parking up there, or after day's event, that it would be all card access. So the same card that the employee would use to get into the building, or you'd give to her, could get you up to that ramp. So it's not a free-flowing to get up there. That does wrap around and then obviously hooks into the building, but that would be the controlled piece. The other ramp is 100% within the building. So that one would be primarily only used by city vehicles that are allowed to get in the building.
Will all equipment be housed inside the buildings?
Equipment, yeah, so whether it's in the main primary building or the two outbuildings, depending on what the piece of equipment is, it's been analyzed to stay here. Yep.
Other questions, comments? We can run over the plans again. We can,
Looks great.
Any other people have any questions or comments? I think it looks good.
Yeah, looks really nice.
thank you. John's team has done just a phenomenal job. We throw all kinds of things at them and they are very responsive. They listen really well and they do a really good job trying to get us back something that we've asked for, so. it's-
And that goes for the city staff too. It's been a great team effort, so it makes everything go a lot smoother.
Yeah, and if I may say a little bit more too, yeah, I love the glass look, the change of, it's not just a shed looking and then a pole barn. An effort was really made to make this look attractive, and I appreciate that.
We did get your branding piece that was put together for the city and kind of incorporate that on the exterior, and then also brought some of those colors. Eventually will be on the interior palette of the building too. So we've kind of looked at all the different things that you had going on in the city.
Dave Lee and I met yesterday to go over some of the initial finishes, concrete, polished concrete floors, what the walls are gonna look like. what the bricks are gonna be made out of, you know, the different color schemes. How do we add the pops of color in all the different spaces, so. A lot of moving pieces and we're trying to keep it all together.
Great, thank you.
I move we adjourn.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.